I'm doing a little reading because I was just journaling for myself, doing a little reading, and I don't know what's going on with the barnet, and it's such a good message that I couldn't not share it. So I've already pre-pulled the cards offline, but I thought I'd share them with you. They're quite good. How is your day going so far? Oh, I look really short because is that better? I have been to a meeting this morning and then in a coffee shop writing my book and listening to Tracy Chapman, Don't You Know, Talking About a Revolution. Do you know that song? I've been listening to that on repeat because it's really speaking to me at the moment. I think because the cards that are coming through, they're really talking about breaking old patterns with regards to how we earn our money, how we share our gifts, especially if you're a highly sensitive person, because you've got amazing gifts as a highly sensitive person. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Hang on. So first of all, I'm going to introduce myself and I'm going to read it off of the new script that I wrote for YouTube. So let me read it to you. Hello, it's Lisa here. I'm an HSP and an intuitive coach. And this channel is for sensitive spiritual detectives who want to live wild-heartedly. So this is the place for you if you want to find your true, most authentic self and your voice. And we do that by journaling with the tarot and oracle cards. I don't use the cards to predict the future, but what I do is I tune into the collective energy. So this is a message that's been coming through off the back of me listening to Tracy Chapman on repeat. And what was really interesting was, as I was walking into town this morning, I saw a woman drive past in a red Ferrari. And Tracy Chapman's also got a song, hasn't she, called Fast Car. So when I looked up the lyrics to Fast Car, it was about... Actually, I should get my journal out because I wrote on it. Where's my journal gone now? I've got 50,000 boxes of cards open on this desk. Can't see for looking. Oh, there it is. Actually, look what I found in this box. This box that you're perched on top of has got all my old smiley... I used to give these hugs out to the kids when I was doing live videos, and I still found some in a box. So obviously, if you need a hug today, take one. I'm going to take some. But I looked up the lyrics to Fast Car. Do you know that one? You've got a fast car. The lyrics that really stuck out for me were leave tonight or live and die this way. So the fast car represents her dreams, represents hope for the future. She's come from a background where she's got no education and she's seen her mum with an alcoholic partner, and then she's ended up in the same situation and she's singing to her partner who is obviously drinking. And I think the song is saying that it's really hard to create the life you dream of if you come from those old patterns where, and not my parents, well, my parents did, but obviously it comes from my grandparents who grew up thinking that you had to struggle and work really hard for money. And it made me realise how grateful I was that even though my dad came from that background, he was able to give me a private education. And I realised, I mean, I don't think I've been entitled about it, but I didn't realise how grateful I am to have had that, because that education has been the bridge to more opportunities and to not having to do a job that requires me to hustle and struggle and physically exhaust me. I'm using my wild heart strengths, my sensitive strengths. I'm using my deep reflective abilities, my intuition, my creativity. You have all those gifts as well, and you can use them as well. And I think the revolution is, going back to that song, the revolution is that change is coming. The lyrics to Revolution say, don't you know we're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. When you're the only person that wants change and you're talking, especially on here when it's really noisy, to the masses, it does feel like a whisper. Absolutely does feel like a whisper. One, it's really hard to be heard out there because you feel like no one's listening to you. give this video a like if you're listening and what I'm saying is resonating with you. And 2, when you're swimming against the tide, you're going against the grain, you're trying to do things differently. People are scared of change because it goes against everything they've been taught and what they believe in, and it creates a lot of fear. So if you're like a trailblazer or a forward-thinking person, you're an entrepreneur, you're a creative, you carry the fear of your forefathers, if you like. You carry that ancestral fear. So I call it it's foreshadowing, really, isn't it? It's almost like you're predicting that history is going to repeat itself if you don't become conscious of it. If you don't become conscious of it and realise the beliefs and the fear and the shame that you carry from what's gone before you. And that's why I love journaling, because when you write on the page and it comes out of here, it's very, very clear and it talks to you very loudly. And your denial's got to be quite high if you can't see it when it's on the page. I don't blame you if, well, it's rattling around in here, it's not easy to see. But someone also, I was reading a blog online about the Fast Car song by Tracy Chapman, and someone online said, this isn't a song about foreshadowing, this is a song about empowerment. This is a song about when you're aware of your past, it doesn't define your future. And that's empowering, that you know that you can change that. And obviously that's where Tracy Chapman's at when she writes these songs, because she comes from those backgrounds, and look what she became this, she became an artist that, she was a busker, I think, I don't know, but this year she was on the Grammys, the 2024 Grammys, because her song Fast Car has been covered by someone of this generation. And it's like we're bringing all of that creative goodness, all of that insight, not foreshadowing, that she expressed in her songs to change the way that we do things. But I think it takes a certain amount of courage to want to change the way things are, because I know when I was working with the kids and I was battling against the system, how difficult that was. People don't want to hear it. They're like, la, 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 la. Anyway, I've pulled some cards. I'll get to the point in a minute. But, yeah, I'm going to pull some cards. Let's do that next. Let's have a slurp of my tea. What's the battery situation like? Can't see. It doesn't tell me. Oh, well, if my battery dies, then I'll come back. Not going to let a little thing like that stop me. Right, so the first card I pulled was... Oh, it's going to be back to front on here, isn't it? Be mindful with your money. But for me, this is about the way that we earn our money. Like, we can earn our money by tapping into our gifts. And the card that came with that was the Kundalini energy, untapped energy. So you've got all of this creative juju inside of you, and that's how you're going to make your money. And that is more and more how we're making money nowadays, isn't it? We're seeing more people online. We're seeing people being really creative with their entrepreneurship. You know, gone are the days of kind of 9 to 5 work. Being stuck in a 9 to 5 job. I don't really know how it's going to work, because we do need people to do those jobs. We can't have machines doing everything, can we? But I just thought this was really interesting, because it's not saying be mindful about saving your money and holding on to it. It's like, be mindful about how you make a living now. Like, what comes easiest to you? They're your gifts. That's your untapped energy. What you take for granted, what you think might be easy to do, like things that come easily to me are talking. Hence why I've just jumped on here and said, right, let's talk to people. Writing my book. So anything that's creative, that's self-expression. That's that's the most undiluted version of you. Yeah, what do you get when you look at those two cards? But this energy lives inside of you. It's not out there. And I think a lot of us are always looking for someone to give us answers, but actually the power lies within us. And for me, in my job, the power is within my words. My words have the power to uplift people, bring people joy, inspire people, motivate people. Or my words are quite triggering. Not so much since I've stopped coaching the children, but on my Facebook page in particular, which we know on Facebook people love to get up in the comments and start rows, don't they? But I found that my words were triggering. But as I've evolved and I've done the work on myself, I know that if I've triggered someone, that I've opened their eyes to something that they need to look at. And so now I don't worry about that so much. In fact, I think, oh, if I've made that person think, if I've evoked a strong, not that I'm going around purposely trying to wind people up, of course I'm not, but if I've evoked a strong emotion in someone and I've made them think about something with my words, then I've done my job, no? Right, next one. It's time to rise. Look at that. And notice that she's, oh, someone with my cup. She's rising through love. And I think it's through doing what you love. But in order to do what you love, you need to love yourself and you need to know yourself. Loving yourself is knowing yourself, is having a relationship with yourself. And I'm just going to read the back of this card because it's quite pertinent to the songs and what's gone before. No matter what's happening in our lives, we always have the potential to rise above it. Is that in the lyrics to Revolution? She talks about running. Hang on, I just need to look that up because that's just popped into my head. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place when I do these things because I feel like I've got loads of messages coming in at once. I'm sure she talks about rising up. Revolution, Tracy Chapman. Hold the line, caller. I will be back with you in a second. She says, come on, Tracy, sing it to us. Tables are talking to the tables are starting to turn. I thought she said rise up. There you go. She says in one of the verses, poor people going to rise up and get their share. Poor people going to rise up and take what's theirs. There you go. Sorry, so I will read this to you now. No matter what's happening in our lives, we always have the potential to rise above it. Rising is one powerful choice away. So that's where we're empowered, when we have that choice. Rise out of negative thoughts or our limiting beliefs. So those beliefs that were handed down to us by our forefathers, we don't have to carry those anymore. We can choose different ones. It is about having choices, and we have so much choice nowadays that I wonder if it's overwhelming. Who's joining us? Hello to you, lovely Wildhearts. Rise out of our slump or out of the potato chip bag. Yeah, rise out of Netflix. Feed your mind with beliefs that serve you. I suppose it depends what sort of stuff you watch on Tinternet. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. What do you like to watch? Because I find that YouTube is quite educational and I learn a lot from other people on there. In fact, I'm very inspired and motivated by other people. Nancy! Hi, Nancy. So lovely to see you. Just talking about Tracy Chapman songs. Talking about Revolution, Fast Car, and pulling some cards. So lovely to see you, Nancy. It says, get up and rise. What are you waiting for? But it's Tracy Chapman's song about, poor people going to rise up and get their share. Poor people going to rise up and take what's theirs. The song of a revolution. Revolution is change, and it happens really slowly over time. And I think in the macro, we've seen it happening since before the pandemic started, haven't we? So, but I think, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word. Anyway, I think we've seen it. It's happening slowly. So it's not a quick thing. It's not a quick thing at all. And so if we're going to rise up and we're going to tap into our creative gifts and be more mindful about how we make money, and we're not going to make it a hard slog, it gets to be easy, it gets to be effortless, it's whatever we love to do, doing what we love, then if we're doing that as HSPs, as wild hearts, as empaths, as highly sensitive people, we must embrace our sensitivity. And I feel like this is saying that this is divinely guided by spirit, but I also feel like this is saying that there's a purity and an innocence. And I'm not saying, oh, we're blooming Mary Poppins, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying there's a purity and an innocence to sensitive people. The depth of their processing, the nuances that they see, the observations they make, the introspections, the self-reflection. Do we see that in any of our leaders? No, we see lots of grandiose gestures and fibbing and... Tell me some other adjectives to describe our current day leaders. But it's all about money and power, and so there's a lack of innocence. So it's like, how can we bring... And again, it's that power. It's time to rise up. That's rising is one powerful choice away. It's about making that choice to rise up. Well, maybe there's something here about spreading your wings as well. Like maybe it's your time to fly. If you've been in your cocoon, if you've been isolating since, recent times, and you feel like you haven't gone out and joined the real world, then maybe you've grown your wings and it's time to fly. And the other card that came with with Embrace Your Sensitivity was As Above, So Below. So it's like you don't have to wait till you get to heaven. Like, don't wait for one day for it to come. Do it now. Do it now, because if you start now, where are you going to be in 6 months' time? Even though change is slow, it takes, repetitive action over time. Power hungry, says Nancy. Yeah, power hungry, but there needs to be a balance. I feel like this is more of a feminine energy that's coming in, because that's very masculine, that sort of hunter-gatherer, hustler, pushing energy. But this is much more gentle, much more nurturing, much more compassionate. And it's saying you don't have to wait. You can have it today. So what are you going to do to bring that world into existence now? Start today. And it says all the time that you're choosing this empowered way, this different way. You're healing. And you're not only healing yourself, you're healing the world, which is a ripple effect. Let me read the back of this card to you. Healing happens in seasons. It can't be rushed or forced to fit a schedule. There you go. So often we curse the seeds that haven't taken root, failing to realise it's not their time. They need more water, sunlight and care. Bullying ourselves blocks regeneration. Also, sometimes the healing we're focused on isn't the healing that's taking place. There's a much deeper healing going on. Be patient, dear one, you're healing. So even when you can't see it, like when you plant those seeds in the soil of change, you don't go back to the soil and dig them out, do you? And say, why aren't you growing? Come on, grow. You just keep watering them and trusting and nurturing them with sunlight and you have to be patient. You have to trust. That's one of the hardest things I find, not to trust what you can't see in terms of spirituality, because I very much feel like I've got a connection into that energy. It's more about self-belief. There you go, that's honest, isn't it? It's more about believing in myself. Like even when everyone can't see the vision I have for the world or the way that I would like the world to be, I've still got to keep believing in myself. And I tend to notice that one of my triggers is that when I jump on socials or when I go on YouTube, when I do a podcast, and I met with Tumbleweed, which often I am, because I'm talking about stuff which is sometimes pretty radical and out there, and people might agree with me, but it's scary for them to step up and hit the like button or comment and say, yes, Lisa, yes, what you're saying is right. Because it goes, if we go back to the Tracy Chapman song of inheriting the ancestor stuff, it goes against what your ancestors have taught you. And to go against the family grain doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel safe. And some families ostracize and excommunicate members of their family if you go against the grain. Not all families do. Healthy families don't. I don't know if you've been looking at my stories today, but I put a brilliant post up about Therapy Jeff, who did a sort of skit on being the family scapegoat. And I just thought it's hilarious what he's saying. It's really sad. It's deeply painful. But actually the way that he's kind of communicated it just made me laugh so much. So what goes with You Are Healing is back to love again. And I know I sound like a hippy dippy, saying it's all about the love. But it is all about the love. And then we have to ask the question, well, what is love? It starts with loving yourself. And for me, loving myself is about treating myself like I would treat a small child. I was watching a little girl, actually, in the cafe this morning when I was writing. And her mum was on her phone and she had a dummy in her mouth. And her mum was like jigging her up and down on her knees, obviously trying to get her to sleep. And she looked up, saw her mum on her phone, spat the dummy out and flicked it on the floor. So then obviously the mum's got to come off the phone to get the dummy back. So I was like, so smart, just so smart. Now, in order for this to happen, this change to happen, it's going to be a tower moment. A tower in the tarot is you can choose the change, or otherwise spirit will come in and pull the rug from underneath you and make it happen. And that's what's happening to me now, which is why I'm sharing this reading with you. And then you can have your 9 of Cups moment. So your 9 of Cups moment is your happiness, is what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what lights you up. What's your thing? What comes easy to you? What did you like doing when you were a kid? What did you like doing when you were a kid? So you can choose change. You can have it on your terms. I'm not having it on my terms at the moment because I've been ignoring all the signs from the universe to get your 9 of Cups, to get your wish fulfillment. Or you can have the universe come in and rip the rug out from underneath you and force that change. Oh, look at the next card. I've got a bunch of cards. The next card is your inner child. There you go. What did you like doing when you were a kid? What did you do for hours and hours that you would get engrossed with and not even notice the time? That is the key to your creative and intuitive gifts of how you're going to make your money if you are an entrepreneur. Mine was reading and storytelling and drawing. I used to make books. So I'd get like bits of A4 paper, fold them in half and staple them. And then I'd like draw pictures and write stories. I also like writing poems. And I remember when Princess Diana got married and I was designing all these dresses and matching hats and handbags for her. Showing me age there. Princess Diana used to wear some fabulous 80s outfits though, didn't she? Yes! Look at this one. Authentic self. Who are you? So you access your true self, the true essence of who you are through the energy of your inner child. Your inner child is waiting for you to be there and listen. That's who the real you is. That's who the real you is. Yeah, back again. Choose love. Choose love. Love is the opposite to fear. That's making me think about that. And fear is that old energy that says you've got to hustle, you've got to work harder, you've got to try harder to earn a living. So if we weren't choosing fear and we were choosing love, we'd sit back and know that we were worthy and that we would attract it in instead of having to try harder, try harder, try harder. There you go, passion. Do what you love. Look at that. The flames of passion. In the card, and that's the page of, what's that, the page of swords. The page of swords is the curious page, is the lifelong learner, is the page that's always curious, that's always learning, and it's full of all these creative ideas. That's who you are as an HSP, as a trailblazer, as a revolution change maker. You've got to be able to think outside the box. You've got to be able to step outside your comfort zone. You've got to be able to walk that tightrope of having a different set of beliefs and thoughts to other people who might actually think you're mad for what you believe is true. People love to call you mad when they don't understand what you're talking about. Ignorant people. Ignorance says people are mad if they think differently. People are scared by change. You've got to tune into your intuition or your divine guidance or your channeling from spirit. What messages are you getting versus, the voice of fear. The voice of fear is the inner critic, or it's the voice that tells you you can't do it, you've got to fall in line, you've got to copy everyone else. Everyone thinks you're mad and stupid for thinking the way you think. But if you're tuned into this, to your higher self, to this energy, you want that to be louder than that, because that will keep you small and keep you in a space of fear, and that will keep you in the space of repeating what your forefathers, what your ancestors have done. You don't want to repeat that. You really don't, do you? And if you're a parent, you want your kids, I think you want your kids to have more than you. I don't mean materialistically, but you also want your kids to do better than you, don't you? I would think that. I'm not a parent, but that's what I would think. We've got the World card here. For me, this is about boundaries. This is about protecting your sensitive energy. Where's the sensitivity card gone? Here we go. It's about protecting your sensitivity, embracing it. If you know it's protected, we said it was protected by spirit, didn't we? If we know it's protected, then we will feel bolder and braver. We'll have more courage to step out into the world. But the world is also the completion of a cycle. So it's saying those old patterns are finished now. Those old patterns are finished. We don't have to hustle. We don't have to work hard. We don't have to sacrifice and struggle to make money. We just have to be ourselves, know ourselves, and know what we're good at. Yeah, last card, Nine of Pentacles, we need to value ourselves. We need to value ourselves. Need to know that just by being you, just by breathing and being, that you are enough. So that's our little reading today. I hope you found that insightful and helpful. For those of you that are interested, I have started a Right to Heal coaching program, which is basically me helping you navigate the change process through creativity, through writing, through journaling. And maybe you want to explore writing a book or writing a memoir or starting a blog, or maybe you're trying to crystallize and clarify your message as a business owner, or perhaps you just want to unravel more of your story as you heal. And what we've said today is healing is choosing you and just honing and nurturing what you're already good at. But if you need help working out what that is, then that would be the program for you so that you can reach your full potential. It's called Right to Heal. I shall pop a link in below on this video, and or you can message me or email me, lisa@smileyforlife.com. It's been lovely hanging out with you today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.